What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot, brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're doing any sort of DFS or sports betting this NFL season, make sure that is where you're getting it done. I'm Blaiden Kirk, and I'm joined, as always, by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Spawnhour and Theo Ashton. We're here to recap, I can't believe it, week 17 of the NFL season, the second to last week of the NFL's regular season. It's going by so fast, but it keeps getting more fun, I feel like. And we're going to talk about a few of the games. Christmas, it was a fun time. We had a live stream where we went over Texans Chargers in real time, and that was a great game. But before we get into the recap, Matt, Theo, on this beautiful Sunday, well, I wouldn't even say beautiful. We're having some pretty tumultuous weather right now. But how are you guys doing on this Sunday night anyway?
I'm doing well. I hope all the listeners had a very Merry Christmas or Hanukkah or
whatever holiday.
December 25th. I hope it was a good day for you, no matter what happened to you that day, or no matter what you did.
What happened to you?
Whether you opened presents or not, whether stockings
Santa gave
were
you coal or gave you
That's true.
presents.
Whether stockings were hung by the chimney with care, or maybe they were just kind of haphazardly thrown around. I hope that December 25th and 24th, that kind of general time frame, was a good stretch of days for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm kind of tired and having a big razor bump problem right now, so I'm gonna have to do some calculus on that. But I'm excited to talk about these games.
Yeah. Then let's get right into it then. If you're excited to talk about some football, Vikings Lions, I think is where we need to start on Christmas. Really, I guess the biggest game out of that window, considering that pretty much got the Lions eliminated from the playoffs.
Nothing pretty much about it. They're out. The Packers are in.
Yeah, you're right. Nothing pretty much. It's like the Jalen Hurts. Theoretically, they're on our schedule. It's like, no, dude, they are on your schedule. No theoretical about it.
Theoretically, we are next on their schedule. I mean, 5 sacks, right? And 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
Kind of the story. And the Lions, I mean, is it shocking that they're out of the playoffs? I don't know if it's shocking with all the talent that kind of left the building. Brain drain, it is a little real, Blaiden. It is a little bit real.
They lost a lot. Obviously, Ben Johnson is the biggest name, but I mean, we've talked about the impact of the change at centers had on the run game this year, and they were they've been banged up on defense, and so trying to get healthy there, and there's just a lot that's gone against them this year. It's so lame to be like, to let people victory lap we told you so, they wouldn't be back. But I mean, it is hard to kind of repeat that ahead of schedule type of season.
I think the offensive line deteriorating is really the biggest culprit of the Lions fall off, more than Johnson leaving. I mean, they're on they're basically I guess not their third string center, but after the draft, they still thought Ragnow was going to be their answer, right? He kind of suddenly retired without much of a plan or without much warning. So then Glasgow's in there, and then he was an emergency reserve, and it just feels like against Brian Flores, it's just a nightmare scenario where you got a signal caller of the offensive line that just doesn't really know what he's doing. And I mean, both Vikings game, they got swept. They got swept by 9 and by Max Brosmer, who didn't have positive passing yards until like the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And the reason is like, you can just walk guys up to the line of scrimmage, call a cross dog stunt, and it just gets pressure probably 90% of the time. That specific blitz call with the 2 linebackers folding over each other against the Lions this year, at least by the Vikings, I don't know, overall. And that's something that I don't know if they even really tried much of when Ragnow was around. Like, that's just not something that you do, because when Blake Cashman touches Frank Ragnow, the rep is just kind of over, and then people in the back end aren't going to, be there when you need them to be. And Amon-Ra's one-on-one with whoever it is overmatched in the secondary, or Jameson Williams is one-on-one with whoever matched up in the secondary. So the fact that now that he's gone, the Vikings can dial that up. It just was too much for Detroit. It's too much for Detroit, and it sucks for Goff when he can't step into his throws. Or he actually had some nice plays out of structure in that.
Yeah, he had a couple run into the sideline that I'm like, okay, that's pretty
on the cross dog blitzes. I think both of them were that play call, and he got out and
I was like, all right. And then he had a couple other times where it's like, not so great. But
yes,
you're gonna get that with Goff. And yeah, I mean, like, one of the big things we know about the Lions is that Goff is really not that great under pressure, and he can be a different type of guy. And I think that's true. But overall, I agree. Like, their passing offense on the whole has not been the biggest issue with the team. I do think it's a little surprising that they didn't make it. They were sitting at 8-5 not all that long ago, looking like they had kind of rebounded. I mean, there's a point where they were they 8-5 and they thought Ragnow was coming back, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
maybe a little bit of a bumpy stretch here, but things are kind of trending back the right way. And then they drop a couple of one-score games to good teams, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. They've had some injuries. I'm not as we talked about this before. I'm not as low on them in the future as like maybe other people are, where it's sort of like, well, you had your chance and you blew it. Even though that, I mean, like, on some level, that's probably just true because you're playing the odds. It's tough to get back to the NFC Championship game or make the Super Bowl. And the standard for the Lions with Dan Campbell right now, and probably going forward forever, is that anything less than like being a top tier contender and going to the Super Bowl and winning it is a disappointment. Like, they've been to the NFC Championship game. They were an inch away from winning it.
Yep.
The only goal is to do better than that. So I do think a lot of the talk around the Lions is going to be negative because, like, they're working from a tough position, and they maybe did have their best opportunity a couple of years ago, or they were 15-2, but then the defense got too banged up. But I still believe that things could get better health-wise for them, and they're not more than like a good draft away, like a really strong draft away from flipping the script again. That's no guarantee that they go out and do it, but they're not that far off.
No, they're not. I mean,
even to say like they were 8-5 and that they were 4-1. Like, they were off to a really hot start this year, and just deteriorated so quickly. I feel like.
I mean, right now they're sitting third in a total DVOA behind Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams. So they're a very efficient team. Jameson Williams has totally broken out the last 2 years now, especially this season. They've been so good with him on the field. And with him and Amon-Ra, Laporta going down also just like absolutely sucks for them. Like, absolutely sucks. He might be the best tight end in the league after Kittle these days, right? So you lose an all-pro caliber player, I'd say, there, and 2 all-pro safeties, right? Like, I do think it's a safe bet, and I think it's a good take to say Detroit will be back next year in a dangerous team. I don't think it's over.
It's tough because, like, they're definitely better than 8-8 says.
Yes,
that's that I feel strongly
100% they are,
and their problems are addressable. But I'm hesitant to say like they'll be better next year because I want to see the offseason. It's kind of banking on them, like, following through and putting the pieces together. So they're a team that I could see in July we're saying like they might get 12 wins. They might be back on top of the NFC North. But I'm nervous to be like, the Lions are going to be back, and then something crazy happens, and it's like, okay, well, I was kind of predicting that a good front office would keep acting like a good front office.
They might get a last place schedule next year. I mean, if the Vikings win one more and they lose the next game, I mean, could they be fourth?
They're currently last in the division.
Currently, right now, right here, right now.
Yeah, they lost to the Vikings.
Yeah,
and they have the same record.
Yeah, I guess they do. So yeah, I definitely think it's a solid take to say like Detroit's gonna bounce back next year. In fact, that's probably what I think. I do think that Goff is a little bit scary with a $70 million cap hit next year. I mean, they can restructure. I don't want to fucking hear it, Matt.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
No, but you're gonna hear it because the reality of that contract is that you pay the premium later down the line, but you're not actually gonna pay him the $70 million now. That's the truth.
I know.
That's the truth.
It's it is expensive though. Even eventually those, I mean, you gave them that money. Maybe it won't be a $17 million wave over the side of the boat next year, but it is going to be, you're going to be paying him for a long time.
Sure.
And I do think that Goff played a really poor game against the Vikings. I mean, throwing all those picks, the fumbles that they had. I don't think the fumbles were necessarily all his fault, but the picks, yeah. And I think when you're Flores, I mean, blitzing was a great strategy, and he's great at dialing up pressure paths that exploit the protection plans, that get one-on-ones with backs, that waste Penei Sewell, give him nothing to do, and then overload Daniel Skipper on the other side or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. He's great at those things, but blitzing isn't necessarily a genius strategy for him. It's a necessity. Like, if they rush 4, they don't got Grenard out there. They Goff ripped him whenever they had like a vanilla rush, so he has to blitz. And they don't really have these press man corners, so he's kind of got a blitz and play zone, and it's unsound. It is unsound if you can figure it out, if you can get to a second read, if you can get really aggressive and push the ball down the field. Like, the wide receivers, from their point of view, I feel like they must have been running around like, why aren't we killing these guys? Like, there's so much green grass, there's so much open space, and I do think that Goff missed some reads. And was maybe a little bit too locked in on some of the underneath things that were being jumped when guys were running open downfield. And I think, yeah, some of the picks he threw were, meatballs. Like the one on third down was kind of an arm punt. The one to Harrison Smith, I thought he did have a little bit of time and just didn't really process what he was seeing. He didn't really step up in the pocket in some scenarios where I thought he could have stepped up in the pocket. And
he's not good at managing that stuff. I mean, Goff is who he is on some level.
And I just think he is on a bad contract. Whether they restructure it, well, they will. When they restructure it, he'll still be on a bad contract, is kind of what I'm getting at. And it is going to inhibit their team building a little bit.
But Matt has said this a million times. You don't want to be out there.
You don't want to be out there, bro. I've been thinking about that a lot today, actually. Yeah.
You could be out there.
I don't know. I don't know. There's too much guaranteed money on the Goff contract to pull off a Goff and trade him for like some other.
I don't think you can trade him. No, like you're sticking with him at this point, but he is,
Well, not that I'm even like a big let's move off of Goff guy and go. Let's see what the free agency market. Like, I don't think they should do that at all.
I just think they have a bad big game performer on a big contract. Like that is what I think.
I'll say this. It's like, God damn it, man. It's Parsons and Flores in the division. Dude, get these. And then our OC goes to the Bears. Yeah. Dude, get these guys out of here, man. It's a bad break for Detroit. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, but you can't say that without recognizing that if they hadn't brought, I'm convinced if they hadn't brought Goff back on money, that the quarterback situation would be worse, and they'd be looking for a QB right now, almost certainly.
Right. No, I'm with you there, Matt. Like, I used to be a very big, like, oh, they should move on from Goff, right? Like, before they gave him that extension, I was very much of the opinion that he wasn't going to get it done, and like, I'm sure that like maybe in some world that take will probably be right. Like the odds
it's definitely going to be right, because the standard that the Goff contract is held to is higher than any other contract on basically any other team, which is that are they going to win the Super Bowl while Goff is on this team?
Right. And if you're saying Lions or the field for the next 3 years, it's probably the field.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's complicated. I'm not going to deny that, like, yeah, paying Goff a bunch of money paying any quarterback a bunch of money makes team building harder. I mean, look at some of the teams around the actual top, like, 5 guys right now. But when you're doing that for a dude who, like, I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's good, but isn't a top 10 quarterback. Like, yeah, that's an issue. A way to bog yourself down and not find enough surplus value to be the champions and have the great roster is, pay guys who are pretty good, not great. That's true at any position, but quarterbacks, of course, are most important. But the thing is that, like, the passing offense is still really good, and I think if you move on to another quarterback, there's a real chance like you could be in like a Vikings offense situation. I know they won the game today, and it's really amazing they're 8-8 through it all, if I'm being honest, in this division.
It is.
But I don't know. It's tough.
Here's another stat for you. Versus the Vikings last year, Jahmyr Gibbs had 127 yards a game, 6.7 yards per attempt. Pretty good. This year, he's at 33 yards a game, 2.5 yards per attempt.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. And that's one way to dissuade. Another way to dissuade Flores from blitzing is like, well, if he blitzes and Jahmyr Gibbs finds one little crease, he's gone, right? And when Ragnow is the one absorbing these blitzes, like it's pretty easy to find that crease. And when it's not him, or it's not Decker, or it's not Zeitler, right? Like it's not just Ragnow that they're missing here, and it's not Laporta run blocking this year. It's Zylstra or whoever. It's not good. It's not good, and the fact that they weren't able to pop a run versus all those like cover zero fronts. Very, very bad news. Very bad news. And they had some
Vikings have won 4 in a row.
Oh yeah.
What are we?
Don't let them get hot.
Don't let them get hot, man.
They're making the playoffs. They're undoing the fact that they're statistically eliminated. They're uneliminating themselves.
They're uneliminating themselves.
They've been so good recently. They're uneliminating.
It really is crazy to think what this team would look like with a good quarterback, man.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they do next year and what the take will be like, especially if Flores doesn't get hired somewhere else, which we'll see. There is a little bit of smoke that he might leave, but if he doesn't, and McCarthy has another year, is it going to be like, well, this is the year where he's going to be good enough that the supporting cast can't fail?
He made this Vikings defense just absolutely absurd. They've got no corners, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. They're still just like an absolute buzzsaw.
Byron Murphy's a really good corner.
And he was right about Tua, so like he's right now. So like he's cooking right now, and he's cooking in the past. Like his stock is as high as it could possibly be right now.
Mm-hmm. I also got to shout out Harrison Smith. He had a sack, a tipped ball that basically ended the game. Did he have 2 interceptions?
I don't know. The one where he was over the middle and jumped that route was good.
Yes.
I thought
that was really good.
That was really
and the tip was really good when he came in on a stunt and then held up and then timed his jump. Goff needs a little bit more sauce with his eyes. I feel like he just looks real tasty to these Vikings defenders who are really reading eyes, right? That's what they're feigning like they're rushing and then they drop back. So it works still like cover zero because they've spent their time occupying the linemen, and then everybody in the back end, they just got eyes on Goff and they're jumping the first read. Like really like the thing that separates him and Matthew Stafford is really like the no look passes.
Okay, well,
like,
Stafford's like the best at that.
I know. But that's why like Stafford in LA is like winning Super Bowls and could win another one this year and still might be the MVP, right? So that's why he's that, and Goff is like just literally eye manipulation sauce that Goff just does not feel comfortable.
I thought Purdy had some nice eye manipulation sauce tonight. We'll get into that game a little bit, but I thought Purdy was on one. Do you want to get into the game that we were live streaming for, though?
Texans Chargers. I mean, the story of this game was Will Anderson and Hunter,
yeah,
couldn't couldn't be stopped by Pipkins and Hart and whoever the hell. And it made everything really tough. I mean, Herbert was playing super duper hero ball basically the entire game. And then on top of that, I mean, you had just like back-breaking drops. I don't think that the number of drops a guy has is necessarily like the best representation of his supporting cast when it comes to a quarterback. Like there's a lot more to it. But like in this game specifically, third down, Keenan Allen drop, Gadsden would-be touchdown turned interception drop, 7-point swing. And it hit him like both of those were directly in his hands.
Yes.
And then I think, and I guess it's not the worst drop because dropping a pass that would be a touchdown and it turns into an interception is as bad as it gets, basically. But the second Gadsden drop was so brutal because it was also on third down, and it was such an amazing play by Herbert where like Anderson, I think he won inside. Like obviously the issue that those tackles were having with the edge rushers, like they just can't get back fast enough to deal with them. They can't deal with the speed. So that opens up like the inside game, of course, when they have to overset or whatever. And Anderson like shows outside and then gets inside. Then so wins immediately. And then because he's won inside, you can't step up into anything, right? You'd rather have the pressure from the outside. So Herbert has to like roll out, and then I forget who it was, but there's another defender, like a big defensive tackle blocking him off. So he has to like, I mean, really like juke inside and then continue to roll out and then throws across and hits Gadsden. This is all on third down, all in territory, or in Houston territory. And he just drops it anyway. And it's like, you know, it turns we'd be in field goal range moment to we have to punt.
Right.
And then on top of that, what'd you lose by 4? How many points did you leave on the field? Through special teams, 4. I mean, it's just a ridiculous game in that regard.
I saw someone tweet, and I was trying to find it just now and I couldn't, but I remember they listed 8 drops by the Chargers receivers, 3 that would have been 3 on third down. I think they said 1 or 2 on fourth down, 1 or 2 that would have been touchdowns. I'm like, this is just ridiculous.
There's no way that those numbers are accurate.
That's what I'm like. There's I don't know if these are actually true, but like I know there were the 3 on third down. I know is true.
That is true. I remember Gadsden's drop, obviously that turned into an interception, and I obviously remember his drop on third where Herbert danced around those guys, and I remember Keenan Allen's early third down drop on the slant.
And if you say there was more, I believe you. But like
that's what I'm saying. Right?
I don't think there were 5 more.
And
I don't think there were 5 more, and I don't think that there were drop touchdowns, and I don't think that there were a bunch on fourth down.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That game was crazy, and the dialogue after those Herbert performances always drive me nuts because like we all saw the game.
Well, this is the thing. I don't think we all did see the game. I'm convinced that a lot of the discussions around, they're just like, they're looking at the ESPN box score. They're on like their sports betting app, and they're like, well, you know, Herbert only had 1 touchdown. He threw a pick in this game, didn't even have 250 yards, and they lost by like, oh yeah, clearly he's not getting it done. Yeah. But I'm like, we watched the game. Everyone that was in the live stream watched the game. And they all know the truth.
The truth is that Herbert played a good game. The truth is that Herbert played a very good game. And the truth is the left tackle is supposed to be fighting and dying to protect the quarterback. The quarterback is not supposed to be fighting and dying to protect Bobby Hart. I will fight and die to protect Bobby Hart. That's not what Herbert said in the pregame press conference.
No, that's not.
But that's what ends up having to happen because it's like these reps from the offensive line are comical. Like they truly cannot touch the defenders for Houston. Like they cannot lay a finger on the defenders for Houston. Like Rasheed Walker for the Packers is like, he's not a great left tackle. Like he's not a franchise left tackle. He's perhaps even he's mid. All right. He's mid. He can touch left tackles. He can touch Danielle Hunter. Like, that's not the Chargers situation. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's the 32 of 32. It's not a bad offensive line. I mean, it's unworkable in a game like this, in a matchup like this.
It's unworkable. And then I just feel like you log on to Twitter or wherever, or you listen to the national media, or you talk about Herbert and what should happen with him, and it's like you just hear these takes of like, why does it look so hard with Herbert? Like, why does it look like he's straining so hard? Like, when you watch other quarterbacks,
I do like that
easy.
angle, though. That's a hilarious way to try to play this thing.
It's like so close.
The good ones make it look easy, and when I see Herbert drop back into
so easy with
offense, it looks really hard. What's going on?
What's going on?
So
like, why does it look so easy when throwing it to Puka, and why does it look so easy standing behind? Like, bro, if you took away that Herbert is missing his two best offensive players by a mile. If you took away Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown for the whole season from Buffalo, like, yeah, shit would get dicey. It would get very
dicey in Buffalo.
I know it's already dicey. If you took away Mulata and Lane Johnson, it would get dicey. And guess what? It's already dicey. And they have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley.
Right.
If you took away
Jamar Chase
and Kevin Dotson for the whole game. I mean, the Rams lost Kevin Dotson and it like cost them the game against the Seahawks last time we saw them. And that's you know what I mean? That's one of them. I just it's like, yeah, obviously it's going to look hard when the roster isn't a Super Bowl roster around clearly a really talented quarterback who can mask a lot of issues, and that's why they have 11 wins. I feel like people look at me or anybody else who really likes Justin Herbert and rates him highly, like we're the old scouts in Moneyball. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of people out there who are like, man, people make excuses for this guy because he's big and strong, and really there's just so much more than that, and it's fleshed out in the stats. Like Brock Purdy, that's a real quarterback with real production, and Justin Herbert is just big and strong, and people fall in love with the aesthetics of it. And it's like I just couldn't disagree more, because
Herbert has never had a player as good as Christian McCaffrey
Herbert has never had
or George Kittle, or
Herbert has never had a player as good as Dominic Pooney, bro. Like,
all right,
Slater, like Slater. This year he does.
Is on the team.
Guys, that was hyperbole. By the way,
was a pretty nasty receiver out of the backfield back in the day. But you know what I mean. It's just not that kind of roster right now. Like right now, they don't have any Pro Bowlers outside of Justin Herbert. Right?
they suck.
Justin Herbert's the only guy who's getting Pro Bowl votes on that roster, and that's why it looks hard. And with baseball, the old baseball scouts, like, yeah, being big and strong, it doesn't matter if you're not getting on base because it's just you versus the pitcher. But like,
right.
What if one batter gets the Funky Kong surfboard and the other gets like kindling a fire log? Like, it's
Mario Super Sluggers mentioned.
You're just armed with different things for a quarterback, whereas in baseball everybody's armed with the same shit, right? Maybe they're going up against, I mean, there's a lot of different variables, but it all gets evened out over the course of an 182 game season, and it matters what players you have around you. Patrick Mahomes, his numbers are looking not that great in the regular season since, 2023, right? Like, he's still a really good quarterback, I think, but he's just dealing with the same shit, I think. So
no, look, Theo, the results are the only thing that matters. Justin Herbert is in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and possibly Lamar Jackson, not. It's that simple. So Herbert's better than all those guys.
Yeah, right. That's the other thing about Herbert. It's like, I feel like there are tangible results with Justin Herbert. Like, he's in the playoffs for the second straight year, his third time in 6 seasons.
And when he's had better supporting cast, he's had a lot of yards.
Yeah, he's had a 5,000-yard passing season. Has there been one since he did it? Has there been a 5,000-yard passing season since he did it? I might get on that. If you can stall if you guys can talk about something else for a second.
Well, I think on some level we're kind of preaching to the choir when it comes to Herbert stuff. I don't think anybody, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I feel like anybody listening to this podcast probably.
This podcast, yes.
Yeah.
But not generally, like over the course of dialogue.
Burrow had 29 or 4,900.
So no.
Last year. I'm just saying, you got close.
So
Mahomes had it in 22.
Shout out.
But Herbert was second that year.
There you go.
And yeah, and then when Herbert had 5K, Brady had 5,300, albeit on the most passing attempts anybody's had in a single season, if I'm not No, I think Stafford had 740 or something. I don't know. Regardless, yeah, Herbert doing a lot with a bad offensive line, had some absolutely brutal drops, bad special teams play. A lot of ways they could have won this game. Sure.
Yeah.
And like
the other two touchdowns of the game were those like ridiculous busted coverages that were like, oh my God, how is this happening? But
yeah,
could have been a very, but yeah. Matt, were you going to talk about Houston?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thought Stroud only played an all right game. And honestly, I didn't love the game that he played. I should rephrase. I thought there were a lot of times where he was fading away, and I thought, I mean, he had a couple interceptions. The first one was tipped, so place the blame wherever you want. I thought at first, like, I didn't understand where he was trying to go, but he's going to the second level. It's like, okay, I could see it. But on the second one, man, it really felt like he was just... I honestly can't recall what I had written down for that, and I can't read it off.
I mean, there was just a guy in the way. Like, it was an inbreaker with a safety sitting on it, and he threw it anyway, and then the safety picked it off. Like, I don't. Like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes me concerned for, like, I do think they are a Super Bowl contender in the AFC just based on the fact that I think the AFC is weak, and them and Denver are sitting here with these insane defenses that can give pretty much every other team in this conference some absolute hell. But I don't exactly trust this Texans offense that still is not particularly great up front. And they had a decent rushing performance in this game, all things considered, but like they still ended with 3.5 yards per carry. And it's still not a good rushing team. I feel very, very, very low on how far this offense can take them if they need their offense to perform. Like if they go up against Denver, whose offense do you like better?
I keep waiting for Stroud to kind of round into form like Trevor Lawrence kind of has and Caleb Williams kind of has. Like, I think he's got it within him. I thought we saw it his rookie year. And it just isn't quite happening with some of the decisions he's made and his pocket presence, like, totally fading away. I just feel like his mapping of the pocket is really far from where like Herbert's is. And they're both behind terrible offensive lines. And I think they both could be real MVP frontrunners if they were behind good ones. But like Herbert is clearly at a different level when it comes to that stuff, like clearly. And it's frustrating with Stroud occasionally. I still think he's got a big arm and he's pretty fast and he has some really great like anticipatory throws on the season where they blitz him and he hits the top of the drop and the ball is out accurately. Like his good throws are as good as anybody I think this year, but like he's just been way too inconsistent. He's been way too inconsistent. Now the Texans are still absolutely contenders in the AFC. They're this week notwithstanding, because it hasn't updated, but they'll probably pass. Maybe they'll pass Indianapolis. They're only behind Indianapolis in DVOA in the AFC. Indianapolis is still number one, despite their skid because they were so high.
Defense. Their defense is like by far the highest rated EPA defense in the league. Their offensive EPA is 25th. They're the only playoff team with a negative EPA on offense, and they're 28th in offensive success rate.
And that's been the story with them. And they've won playoff games. Like the last 2 years, they've won playoff games, which is hard to do. And I talked earlier in the year about how their simple rating system was so good. Like they've just played a really difficult schedule full of playoff contenders, and their point differential this year is actually like very, very good. And when you combine those two things together, they actually score really highly. So there's a lot of analytics out there that you can look at and say, like, man, the Texans could easily come out of the AFC. Like, if we had to pick it today, like, I'd really think about picking the Texans. I don't have to do it because it's not week 18 yet, but like, I really do buy like Texans contender theory despite the offense, but like Stroud needs to play better than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like in the AFC, it's just about who gets hot. I mean, I know that is Moneyball Scout analysis, but the truth is that like some of these quarterbacks are just kind of inconsistent. Like Lawrence, it's like, is he going to have a stretch of games where he avoids the boneheaded stuff? And then it's just like, wow, look at his rushing ability in the red zone. Look at these throws that he's hitting, you know, that type of stuff. Right now he's on a stretch, but earlier in the season he wasn't. And who knows with the playoffs? Maybe he gets there and then he goes up against a tough defense. I mean, the Texans are 11-5. They've won 8 in a row. I think every game they've lost has been a one-score loss, and I think every game has been to like a very legitimately good team if we're counting the early season Buccaneers as like a different team, which we are going to give the grace to do.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's been like a one-score loss to the Rams or something like that. Now, of course, like the path to them staying close in these games is in part because they're low scoring because you have this great defense and then your offense struggles and, you know, yada, yada, or whatever. But, yeah, I like them as a team where it's like you can see how they'd go on a run pretty easily.
Him and Stroud and Collins. Collins needs 2 big plays every game in the playoffs, and they might be good to go. Like 1 post, 1 go, 1 dig that he breaks the first tackle. Like,
yeah, it's like
one of each.
Can we imagine ourselves like in February being like, here's the statistical run that Collins has had through the last 3 games. He's having like an elite playoff. Yeah, that's totally the path.
He really is explosive. Like we were talking about on the stream about how he's kind of gotten underrated in the hierarchy of receivers because he's just such a long strider, like so physical, ball just sticks to his hands, runs through contact. Like there's so much to like about him, and it just feels like he hasn't fully been realized this year.
He hasn't, you know, there's so many guys too that are in that. I'm not going to say he's top tier because like, I don't know, maybe you have like the Puka and the Jefferson or whatever, but like he's one of those guys that I think is good enough to win Offensive Player of the Year in the right situation. Mm-hmm. Like if he had an Offensive Player of the Year season, it wouldn't totally surprise you or whatever. Mm-hmm. Definitely it feels like he's the most slept on or the most kept quiet about that tier of wide receiver and is kind of due for a big breakout. So yeah, if he got hot and Stroud was playing well and didn't throw boneheaded interceptions over the middle to guys who were super covered, and the defense did its thing. I mean, when you have a pass rush as good as the Texans do, like anything is possible, truly. Right. A lot of Super Bowls have been won off the back of just like our pass rush is just so nasty. That being said, I want to get to the other game that was played that day, which is Baltimore versus Green Bay. Now, the game itself is really not like, it was a good game. Unsurprisingly, Green Bay's rushing defense is just a disaster.
We are the 2024 Carolina Panthers going into the playoffs.
Okay. Someone asked me. It is funny that they're still going to the playoffs with as injured as they are. And like, I don't know. Wooden was getting crushed. I mean, there was times where he was getting pushed by like Kolar and stuff like that. And shout out Kolar, but like, you know. Right. You can't let that happen. I mean, everybody on that defensive line, they're super,
Mark Andrews is a better run blocker than any of our front 7 players are run defender outside of Edger and Cooper. Like, it's not good. We cannot go band for band with anybody.
I think Barry got Rose Garden one time though.
And Barry is solid. I guess Van Ness had a solid game. Mm-hmm. Gary is just a disaster and has fallen off so bad. I mean, the game sealing 4th touchdown that Derrick Henry scored. I mean, he gets pin-pulled by like Devontae Walker and doesn't see the play coming. And then once Walker gets his hands on him, who's a wide receiver, by the way, if you're like, who is Devontae Walker? He's like a 6 foot tall wide receiver, and Gary could not maneuver around him, and he cannot get quick pressure. And Like he should be Trayvon Walker, and he's more like Montez Sweat minus, which is not good as we saw tonight. Like they are, I mean,
it's bad. And we've talked in depth about how bad the Packers rushing defense is, and they're banged up and woe is them and whatever. The interesting thing about this game is that Willis had a good performance, and what your takeaways are about him going forward, because he's a free agent after this year, correct? So,
and it's not the first time he's had a good performance in leave of Jordan Love.
That's true. I mean, when he was with the Titans, I thought he was kind of disaster tier a lot of the time. And I remember when he first started for Green Bay, I was like, this could be really bad. Like, I wonder how that's going to go. And he played pretty well and has consistently played pretty well. I mean, Theo, it's your team. What do you think about Willis? Do you believe like he's somebody who should get a chance to start on another team?
Yeah, I think he should get a chance. I think he should get a chance. I think someone should probably bring him in for really mid-level money, and he could be a good deal there, and he could compete for a starting job or be a bridge or whatever it is that ends up happening. I think it's funny. I don't think the Packers really have a problem or anything. I'm glad the backup quarterback is good, and I'm glad he gave us a chance to win. Yeah. Well, that's just, I think a lot of like LaFleur gets asked about it and he shuts it down. And
I have a friend that's a Packers fan. He texted me today. He was like, so the Packers are trading Jordan Love now, right?
Yeah.
To Atlanta. And I was like,
there's a lot of tweets, and Twitter's brain dead, so I don't know why I bring it up. But like there's a lot of tweets that are like Packers fans trying to defend Jordan Love after this. I'm like, is Jordan Love the defensive coordinator from the Ravens or something? Like, is he playing linebacker? Like, why is he supposed to stop Malik Willis from having a good game? I don't know what to say. Like, Jordan Love was having a really good season before he got the concussion. Malik Willis playing well doesn't change what Jordan Love put on tape this year.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely it doesn't. If anything, this should speak very lowly to the Tennessee Titans. It's like, yes. You guys were that bad? You guys are that bad? Like, what are you guys doing to Cam Ward over there, brother?
Malik Willis, AJ Brown.
Cam Ward, yeah. Like.
Anyway, I think Malik Willis, I mean, he was very accurate down the field. I think
that first throw he had to Dobbs was incredible.
It was incredible.
A fantastic throw. And then the throw that he had to Watson after that over the middle, over a linebacker, was really good. I mean, I feel like a lot of
pass rushers on a string, like with the pocket movement, like
yes, exactly. Up, he took one sack that I thought was kind of bad, but another time where it's like, wow, he's really setting these guys up. And when you are showing life in that department, because I feel like that was one of the bigger concerns with him, is just like the pocket presence and whatnot. So it's like, okay, I'm seeing a guy then who has some good, showed some good accuracy, obviously has a big arm, obviously is like a plus runner and threat in the run game overall, and has this great mobility. And frankly, is just like a very cool player. I mean, Justin Fields got a chance to start this year and got a pretty sizable contract, and he spent a lot of the year before that just throwing a bunch of stuff underneath and being kind of a rushing threat. I feel like Willis has showed at least as much as he did, if not more. And I mean, like Daniel Jones got a chance to start. Yep. Jones did a good job, but I mean, the year before, Jones showed as much as Willis is showing right now, probably about the same, or maybe Willis has done more. So I think I'm kind of on board. We'll see how the offseason plays out and who needs what, but I think I'm kind of on board.
Someone like Indy or someone like Miami.
Indy, I'd really like to see. That'd be cool.
I've been going Miami hard right now. Like, that's after today, maybe not, because like Quinn Ewers kind of had a good game, but like Malik Willis would give them such a boost of athleticism and arm talent that they have been lacking so much under center. And also they have they're set to have negative $3 million in cap space next year. And it would be really nice if they could use a first-round draft pick on like a corner or on their offensive line, or just like have some more flexibility in their offseason because they're paying Tua and Tyreek $50 million each next year against the cap. I'm like, they would be. I feel like Malik Willis is the perfect, like maybe not a perfect solution, but a perfect, at least temporary solution until they can figure their shit out. And if he ends up being really, really good, well, then that's just a win.
Where would you want to go if you were Willis?
I think if Mike McDaniel stuck around, I'd want to go to Miami.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Colts would be pretty high. Would be pretty high on my list, man.
Yeah,
the receivers are great.
They've got great weapons.
And Willis really does add a lot to the run game. I think that's
insane. Yes,
it's super real. I mean, our run game is going to be better with Malik Willis than it is going to be with Jordan Love. And if he's giving you everything that he gave you in this week in the pass game, like, yeah, he'd be a better quarterback option, but you just can't really trust that consistency. And so that's why you tip your cap after the season's over and say, thank you for your service as a good backup. And if he's a great starter, he's a great starter, but the Packers just aren't going to be the team to find that out. I mean, Jordan Love has just been too good. He's been too consistent. He's been to the playoffs every year. I know it's not a division win. I know it's always the 7th seed, but it is the playoffs every year. And of the entire illustrious 2020 quarterback class of Love and Burrow and Tagovailoa and Hurts and Herbert, Love is first by a good margin in net yards per attempt of that quarterback class. He's at 7.07. Burrow is second at 6.68. So it's not happening. A Love replacement.
It does suck that he has to be compared to that quarterback class, though.
Not when he's first. Then it's just awesome.
He's first in that stat, but like
he is first in that stat. And again, it's one stat, but like again, is he better than Herbert?
I don't think anybody is seriously expecting them to move off of Jordan Love for Willis.
Yeah. I feel like the mystery box could be
you don't know. There's so many just old, like, people love backup quarterbacks, man. Like, the second a backup comes in and does well, like, half the population of any fan base is going to be like, maybe not half.
Yeah, but people did like
15% of the population of any fan base is going to be like, well, things ran better with the backup. Like, people love backups.
They do.
Speaking of lovable backups, Colts Jaguars today. Rivers got another start. He's still continued to be mostly all right. I mean, it's a lot of the same where he's doing a really good job getting the ball out quick and kind of knowing his limitations and trying to place it well and setting his guys up for yards after the catch and whatnot. He hits some deep shots, but if he's hitting anything past 20 yards, there's like a 50-50 shot that the pass catcher is going to take the biggest hit they've felt all year. He really has to set his guys up because he doesn't have a lot of room for error in those windows. However, he did hang one, not over the middle, but outside that got picked off. And
yeah, he does that every week.
Yeah, man, you don't got the arm that you used to.
20 points a game for Grandpa Phil.
I think it's been successful. I think it's been a success. Like, overall, the offense is not completely collapsed and he's 44 years old. Would this have gone any better with Riley Leonard? I kind of think like, no. I think this is probably about how it would have been or worse, honestly. And watching Rivers out there has been awesome and been a reason to turn them on. So, unlucky season. It is what it is. I thought for the Jaguars, this was kind of like a weirdo game for them. I mean, T-Law had like a brutal interception in the end zone to Jermaine Pratt. They had, I think, another fumble. The Colts got a couple of big like kickoff returns that gave them an opportunity to score without moving the ball a ton. But overall, like, eventually the Jags, ended up working through it. I got to say, I'm super impressed by Lawrence's rushing in the red zone. I know he's super high up there in attempts, and it is a cheat code just to be able to take off whenever you want. draw up the quarterback power, quarterback run or whatnot. And he's hitting a lot of big time throws. I mean, when he's not making the mistakes, I know again he had the bad interception to Pratt in the end zone, but when he's playing clean football, like absolutely the ceiling is incredibly high, especially when Parker Washington is balling out, dude. How special is he? So I felt like this is another game where it's like it was a close one against a team that you maybe thought you would beat by a little bit more because again they're playing a grandpa at quarterback, but I really think it was just a number of mistakes that they still were able to overcome rather than like saying something bad about the team and like what their strengths and weaknesses are. Also, today we've had something very weird happen in the NFL. How many hook and ladders were there? There was the one in this game that was cool, but it didn't work. And then there was one in the 49ers versus Bears game.
The Bills picked up a fourth with one.
Yeah.
And then the Bills picked up a fourth with one. We saw 3 big time hook and ladder plays. I don't know the last time we've seen 3 in a single week. A lot of people say like, where are the laterals? I feel like we've talked about that all the time on here, but they're starting to become more mainstream for sure. Or maybe
they are. I think
but still,
teams are just trying to figure out where you can pick your spots with them. And I think that's kind of the tricky thing right now. But yeah, they're definitely becoming more popular. So
yeah, yeah, definitely they are.
I want to talk about the Browns game too a little bit.
That I did watch. The Browns-Steelers game was
you watched the Browns
actually
Steelers
cinema.
Game, Theo?
Of course I did.
God.
Of course I did.
Myles Garrett, like, look, I'm waiting for him to break the sack record. And the Steelers came into this game clearly with a plan that they were not going to let that happen, no matter the cost. The cost is they might miss the playoffs. They might lose the AFC North title. If they had won this game, they would have clinched both of those today. But now they have to beat the Ravens. They don't have DK Metcalf. They don't have Darnell Washington. They're probably not going to have TJ Watt. The Ravens are expecting to have Lamar Jackson back. How do you feel about the Steelers' odds to win the AFC North right now?
I'll let Vegas decide.
You'll let Vegas decide.
I assume that the Ravens are favored, and I would probably favor the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are favored, by 3.
By 3.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, especially without DK. I mean, without DK, how can you favor the Steelers? And, I mean, they were trying to find some juice today without him, and they just could not. They just could not. You know, when we've seen it a couple times when a player joins a team and plays like 5 days later. McCaffrey, when he got traded to the 49ers, I think did it. Phillip Rivers, obviously, this year did it. Anybody who gets traded, it really happens. Or they just showed up. Baker Mayfield with the Rams.
Sure.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a game that you'd expect somebody who showed up yesterday and doesn't know the playbook to have, which is funny because Rodgers vouches for him because they have so much experience together. Just not on the same page at all as like the primary threat. I mean, there is just absolutely nothing that the wide receivers brought to the table in this game. I mean, Valdez-Scantling had 3 receptions for 21 yards. I don't know how many targets he had, but it was embarrassing. Like he didn't have the timing of any back shoulder down, and of course Rodgers is just throwing the back shoulder immediately as soon as he hits the top of his drop. Like absolutely no interest in holding the ball with Garrett lurking, right? Like
MVS led the team in targets.
You know how many
he led the game in targets.
How many did he have? 9, 3 catches, 21 yards on 9 targets. Not great,
dude.
And a fumble that he recovered, but he still did fumble.
Yeah.
It's going to sink their season. I mean, Calvin Austin also missing. Yeah, they showed a graphic at one point that like those two are responsible for, over 1,100 yards this year and 8 touchdowns. And the rest of the receivers playing are responsible for like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. They had some nice seams to the tight ends. Like those guys are still weapons. Yeah. Jalen Warren did his thing, but like So many checkdowns that went nowhere.
Dude, losing Washington is going to be difficult both for their passing game because he's such a threat over the middle and he can run guys over and he can be a threat outside too. But like as a blocker, like, dude, they've been so deadly on these like wide zone and stretch plays because of his ability to seal things off. And now he's not there. Like I really am worried about them going into week 18. Like this was a game you could not afford to lose. It's like
they've already got their 9th win.
But you know what? TJ Watt lives as tied for the NFL record for another week at least. So they can at least hang their hat on that.
Aaron Rodgers was 4 of 13 for 35 yards versus man coverage against the Browns.
Yeah, he's on. I'm still waiting for Pro Football Focus to update the stats from this game. Maybe they have now, but I was looking at it before this podcast, and currently I've seen his time to throw listed anywhere from 2.39 seconds to 2.02, which would be by far the lowest of any quarterback in a game this season, right?
Yeah.
It's just that's just pitiful. Like if you're not getting to your second read at an average 2.2 second time to throw.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Steelers are beast for that. They're not doing anything in the playoffs anyway. It doesn't matter if they make it. Like they're not going to win the Super Bowl probably, right?
Probably. But
so what do they do? So
like they could go.
So like what do? Garrett's going for the sack record. I'm throwing the ball away immediately every single time I drop back.
To be fair to the Steelers, and this is not really like even being fair to them, but I don't think they did that because they don't want Garrett to have the record. They're doing it because that's how they always play Myles Garrett. Like he could have one sack on the year.
Especially ridiculous, dude.
You're mad.
I am mad. No, like I am mad.
You're salty about it.
They rage baited me and they got me good. Ben Solak tweeted out 2 next gen stats here. The first is Myles Garrett was chipped on 41% of his pass rush snaps today, which was the 8th highest rate for an edge rusher in a game this season, 3rd highest for Myles Garrett this year. And then followed that up with on the 23 pass rush snaps where Garrett was not chipped, the Steelers either ran quick game or just rolled away from Garrett on 17 of those. So they're just like literally avoiding him at all costs. Like not even
strategy,
like not even game
Garrett.
planning. It's just like, nope, he's like on our back. Nope, just not.
That does sound like game planning to me.
It's just, but they scored 6 points. Like
But that is what they do with Garrett. I mean, Rodgers. The last time Garrett had 0 sacks in a game, it was against the Steelers.
What they should have done, let Garrett get the sack. They would have scored a lot more if they'd done that, because then he would have been satisfied and said, okay, I'll go sit now. And then you can do what you want to do on offense. But not letting him get the one.
I'm just saying, if your strategy is like, if you feel Garrett at all, just like get rid of the ball or like, as opposed to like step up and get to your second read. Like,
dude,
I definitely think like there's something.
He plays for the other team from the Steelers' perspective, so they don't want him to get the sack. No, they don't. I don't know what to tell you,
dude.
This was not despite him.
I'm just saying
this is just their game plan with Myles Garrett.
There's so many, like the number of former players that are like, dude, it feels like, why does it feel like they just don't want Garrett to get the record? And then Garrett and the press players that are idiots. It just feels like they just don't want to It's like that's all they care about. Like, they don't care about winning this game. They just care about him not getting the record.
It's like they don't want Garrett to get the sack.
Oh my God.
I don't know what to tell you, Blaiden. They're not Browns fans. Like,
No, I'm not saying that they should be Brown. I'm not saying that they should let him get the record, but it did feel like they cared more about the record than winning the game.
They cared. This is just how they game plan for Garrett, though. Like, Rodgers always gets rid of the ball in like 2 seconds anyway. Like, that's been the story of the whole season, is that he can't really do anything under pressure anymore. So, like, he has one of the fastest times to throw on the year. Yeah. And with Garrett, like, yeah, they chip him a lot. They chip Myles Garrett, so he's not one-on-one with Andrus Pete or fucking whoever. They don't really want him to wreck the game, so they try to make it happen. And with DK, they would have gotten away with it. Like, with DK, they wouldn't have 35 yards versus man coverage, and they wouldn't be taking goal line fades to Marquez Valdes-Scantling or 4th and 1 shots to Scotty Miller, which happened in this game. As 4th and 1, they aired it out to Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller also had a classic Scotty Miller easy catch that he leaves the ground for, and then he lands out of bounds for no reason. Like, they just had shit wide receivers, so their game plan around Garrett like really didn't work. If DK didn't get suspended, they win this game. Like, I feel pretty confident saying that. Shatter Sanders played atrocious football.
Do not tell Browns fans that. They will hang you.
What, bro?
Bro, you think I'm joking?
Terrible.
You think I'm joking, dude? The number
I don't care.
The number of people that are like, they're like, dude, he got both those interceptions were so unlucky. And but they don't talk about the fact that the Harold Fannin touchdown was like a duck that Fannin pulled his groin to catch.
Dude, the touchdown to Fannin was such a bad throw. It was a cover 2 hole shot, and it went, instead of going to the sideline, it went like 30 yards in bounds. It was not 30, probably more like 15. So it was a Kyle Duggar's flying to get to the sideline because he's like, damn, Fannin's open. And then it's just like nowhere close to the sideline. Yeah, you're right. Fannin tore his groin trying to adjust to it. There were a bunch of other wobblers. The pick he ended up throwing to Duggar, like drifting backwards, was the worst interception a quarterback has thrown all year. There were a lot of ugly ones. He did have some nice throws versus zone. I'd say, like, there were some little layered throws over the middle for sure, where I was like, okay.
This is kind of how it is every week, where it's like you see moments where you're like, okay, he can be a starter in the league, but is he good enough to be an above average starter in the league? And I do think he's still better than Mendoza. But no,
he's not. He's so fucking not. It's unreal how not
I think
he
he's
is.
better than Mendoza. I think
he's not.
Mendoza.
He's so not. He is just so prone to the disaster play, Blaiden. Like, he's so...
I guess that's true.
He's so just unreliable. Like, he's waiting to throw the game away. Like, it is... It is... Like, you cannot overstate how bad the negatives are. Like, and how frequently big negatives occur.
Yeah, no, his negatives are really bad, but I don't know. I feel like
almost
maybe
a third of his dropbacks. I mean, this is going into this game where he threw a pick to Jack Sawyer. Like, he took sacks where checkdowns were open. Like, this is before this game, and almost a third of his plays lose a point of EPA. Like, a third of his plays, you might as well take a point off the scoreboard because he's taking a sack or throwing an interception or messing up a third down or something.
Part of that is just because the Browns roster is terrible.
He's terrible. But like, you're talking about the duck that he threw to Fannin. Like,
I agree with you that he's like a bottom 5 starter in the league.
He is worse than.
I think Mendoza would be. Gabriel. I think Mendoza would be the worst starter in the league. And
Blaiden, he wouldn't be worse than Shador.
I think he would be.
I think he would be.
But you know, but if Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are looking at the draft and they're like, yeah, we think Dante Moore, we think Mendoza, we think whoever's better, they should just draft him. Like, that much is true. Matt, you are 100% right about that. but
I feel you on like if they have a really high pick, they could go in a different, like if the value is not there, pick where the value is. And it doesn't matter today because they've won 4 games, then they're not going to get the top pick, and Mendoza's going to go number 1, whether we like it or
bro,
not. Like,
they could win their 5th next year or next week.
The Browns' path to 5 is still on the table here. But at the end of the day, Shatter is terrible. And this was a terrible performance. And he kept the Steelers hanging around, and they did not trust him to put the game away with his arm because he so frequently has disaster plays.
But again, if you're like, why Browns fans will be like, and I'm a Browns fan.
You are doing this currently, by the way.
But a lot of Browns fans will be like, why doesn't Kevin Stefanski trust Shedeur Sanders?
And it's because it's because
there's a reason.
Like,
there's a reason he didn't start week 1. There's a reason he wasn't the second QB on the depth chart over Gabriel. There's a reason he wasn't getting first team reps in the offseason. It's because he didn't earn them, right?
Yeah.
But I do think if they do not think a quarterback is better than him, they should not force drafting his replacement.
Yeah, they should sign Malik Willis, but they should not have Shedeur Sanders as the week 1 starter next year. They should not. It doesn't have to be Mendoza or trading up or whatever it is that
Malik Willis
get him, but it does not have to be
interesting. Malik Willis,
dude. If Willis is in free agency and he's got offers from all these different teams, he's like, I want to go play for the Browns offense. He can egg him up now, bro. Like, there's no way that would be the choice he makes, right?
You don't think so?
I don't think so, bro. Regardless.
What choice would you make?
Regardless, I agree they shouldn't take a quarterback if they think it's worse than the guy that they have right now. And hopefully, who do the Browns play next week?
Bengals.
Hopefully Burrow understands the gravity of what Garrett is trying to do and gives him a freebie.
He won't have to give him a freebie. It's the Bengals offensive line.
What game do we want to hit next?
Panthers.
Bills. Oh, Panthers? I did not watch the Panthers, I fear.
Oh, I watched every snap.
I didn't watch every snap. I turned it off at a point. I said, okay.
Wait, actually, I'd also turned it off. Never mind. I didn't watch every snap. I watched every snap until it got out of hand, and then I turned it off. Yeah. Okay. I watched every snap, and then Barner scored and made it 17-3, and it was very, very clear that Bryce Young was not authoring a come behind victory, Matt.
And they had a baloney drive that they put together or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay. And then they lost anyway. I mean, yeah, the big story is like Bryce didn't throw anything real like the entire game, essentially. At least from what I watched. I mean, I guess I maybe missed a couple of pass attempts, but he ends with 24 attempts for 54 yards. There's a point in this game where he's at 16 attempts, 16 yards. And it's just
right? Oh my God, 54 yards? He ended with 54 yards? I didn't realize it was that bad.
Crazy, dude.
I mean, and I don't...
Coker led the team in with 16 yards.
Yes, bro. And like, I mean, the entire game is just like screen or check down, or I mean, like maybe one thing underneath to Mitchell Evans on like 3rd and 1 billion or whatever the hell. And then, I mean, he tried to hit McMillan down the sideline a little bit, like in between a flat or whatever. And then I think Love was on the flat. I think maybe
it was Love. Well, Love was, I think, guarding the. Yeah, it was Love in the flat. Yeah,
it was Love, and he just dropped back, and it was a terrible pass. It was way behind. He probably could have gotten it. So, like, I don't know what to make about. I do know what to make about it. It was a horrible performance. I mean, like, truly terrible.
1.1 air yards per attempt for Bryce Young.
And it's just like, what's frustrating about it, too, is that Darnold also played, like, terribly. I mean, he was like having a meltdown for a lot of this game, which is annoying because I was like, you know, there's been points this season I've been like, all right, things are pretty good. Or it's like, all right, he's had stretches here. I'm talking like took a 20-yard intentional grounding, and
when he could have stepped up, he could have easily stepped up in that pocket, and he bailed backwards, and
it was just holding the ball forever, and you know. The Panthers defense did their job truly and honestly for a lot of this game.
Shout out Mike Jackson.
Shout out Mike Jackson. Absolutely. But like, man,
sometimes you just get got by a really good defense. I mean, when Aaron Rodgers played the 2015 Broncos defense, he finished that game 14-22 for 77 yards, zero touchdowns. That's Aaron Rodgers in the middle of his prime.
Talk to me.
Bryce Young is not Aaron Rodgers in the middle of his prime, and we know that. Yet. But I just think this Seahawks defense is also
a great defense.
It's a great defense. It has a chance to carry really an underperforming Sam Darnold and underperforming offense to the Super Bowl. Like, his offense hasn't been the same since that Rams game, the first one where Darnold had 4 picks. And really, even before that, it was probably showing some signs of a little bit of... Actually, no, it wasn't. It was actually cooking before that game. Since that game, though, I mean, since Rivers entered the league again, he has a higher EPA per play than Sam Darnold. So, like, it's an issue, right? What their Darnold's pocket presence is reading other coverages, right? The rotations. It's a major problem, and I still feel like I'm gonna pick the Seahawks to go to the NFC Championship game because I feel that highly about the way this defense is playing right now. I mean, especially against the run. Like, it is a special run defense. As much as they shut down Bryce today, like, this Panthers team is one that wants to run the rock. And like, after the Darnold fumble that Squirtin forced, and it looks like they might get something going there. It's 3rd down and 2. They run the ball. I mean, they just get beasted on by just everybody involved in the front. Like Byron Murphy, the stack and shit, unbelievable.
Yeah.
The Ernest Jones, like, popping offensive lineman, like he's Byron Murphy and he's a linebacker. Like, his ability to play long and stack and shed. Leonard Williams swimming over people. Like, these guys on the front just take turns popping. There's Nwosu, there's Tank Lawrence, there's Leonard Williams, there's Boye Mafe making a play. Like, they're so deep. The play where Tank Lawrence forced the fumble and returned it for a touchdown, like, there were big double teams there on Jerron Reed. He ate that double team and held it there. Like, no one climbed and no one could climb. He just got in the ground and, like, let nobody through. Ernest Jones didn't even have to touch an offensive lineman before making a hit. And then Byron Murphy's on the other side doing the exact same thing to a double. Like, it's just not normal to see. It's not normal at all. And then Tank Lawrence has been doing this all season, flying around, cleaning up others' messes, going for the ball. Like, it was just a matter of time before he did something like that. Like, it is a special unit. And then you think about who they've got on the back end, and it's Love and it's Witherspoon and it's like, this is a crazy defense. And I think I just think the Panthers were overmatched. Like, the amount of strain that was on everybody, not just Bryce, but like Coker was the leading receiver with 16 yards. And to get those yards, he had to hurdle somebody. They checked it down and we're just getting erased in the flat.
Dude, that's the number one thing that I took away about Seattle's defense as much as anything else is like, oh my God, getting downhill and like eliminating those like chunk plays from just checking it down or trying to go underneath. They're so good tackling in open space and flying to the ball. Yeah. It's incredible. They really do have a special defense. And like, I'm really frustrated by the Bryce performance, but maybe you're right.
The pick was awful. I mean, the route was there versus the zone. It was wide open.
That's a really bad performance. And part of it, honestly, I guess I've gotten my hopes up a little bit for games like this, where I'm like, I know the Panthers are outmatched, but they were outmatched against the Rams and they won that game. They were outmatched against the Packers when they first played. I was like, they were like 13-point underdogs in that game.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning. So,
the Seahawks just don't allow the duo in the same way. They just don't allow the run game in the same way. It's just a completely different tier from any other run defense in the league right now, I think. Like, even Denver is just... There's no run defense in the league playing like this right now. You just cannot get it going against the Seahawks. I mean, the Rams, they were the most successful run offense ever by success rate, not by explosive plays and EPA and all that, but just like purely, do you pick up, half the yardage on first down? Do you pick up half the yardage on second down? Do you pick up the full yardage on third down? by success rate, they were the number one rushing offense of all time. 2.9 yards a carry or something like that against Seattle as they clawed their way back in and came back. Like, I think it's definitely valid to be frustrated with Bryce, and I think he's not a $60 million man. All right, whenever that extension comes, it's probably time to say goodbye at some point, right? But I do think that he's not the worst quarterback ever, and I think that this Seahawks defense is special. Was kind of my takeaway more than like, wow, Bryce really backslid today, or Bryce really, like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks. I think they could go up against a quarterback who's considered to be better than Bryce in the playoffs and hold them to something like that. If the secondary is healthy, they're pretty crazy.
I like the hopium you're giving me here, man.
I mean, yeah,
everything's good. We're cool. We just got to beat the Buccaneers and then we'll go on a run.
That's not what I said, but
that's what that's what you were getting at.
Well, let's talk. Well, there's the other side, which is
what you were
Panthers
saying is you've lost to the Seahawks once. It's tough to beat a team twice. So when you match up against them in the playoffs, it's all to your advantage. Good point.
Mike Jackson had a good game, but how about the Panthers playing zone and then every check down leading to 3 broken tackles and a first down whenever the Seahawks tried it? They realized they could just like dump it down to Barner, and Barner would like go hog wild on whoever the linebacker was and pick up the first. And
I mean, the Panthers,
every perimeter run, they'd get like erased by Cooper Kupp, and Charbonnet would make one cut and be gone. Like, the defense did well on JSN, but that's about it.
The Panthers are still recovering from a stretch of poor drafting, is how I'll put it. I think they've done better. I think they did better last year. I think they've added some talent in free agency and made some moves, but yeah, I mean, the defense is not all there. It's improving from being really terrible, not fully good. And I could say the same thing for the offense as well. Their linebacker issues, I mean, and they're banged up there too. And Wallace isn't, out there or whatever.
110 rush yards for sure.
Yeah, and Walker looked like he was at Michigan State whenever he had the ball or whatever. So, I mean, maybe that's why I was so impressed with the Seahawks, is because you watched, the exact opposite with Carolina on defense, where any check down you feel is liable to go for more than it should. With Seattle, any check down, anything underneath feels like it's going to go for less than it should. But I don't want to talk about this game anymore.
Okay. Seahawks have the best
before
point
we talk about
differential
our
in the
next
NFL.
game, we have to talk about our good friends over at FanDuel, because you know how fast these NFL games move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is a game changer. With FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds. Score just flipped, jump on a new spread or live money line. That wide receiver's heating up. Bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive stalls in the red zone? Take a live field goal prop or fade the total. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets, it's all there. It's fast, it's fun, and with FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel puts you right in the middle of every single moment. Visit FanDuel.com/podcast to download the app and bet NFL Live all season long. Disclaimer: must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Paid endorsement. I assume we're talking about Bills, Eagles. This could, in another world, be a Super Bowl matchup. Maybe not in this universe, but in another one, I'm sure it could.
As 2 playoff teams, one from the NFC, one from the AFC.
That's theoretically, it could be a Super Bowl matchup.
I mean, the Vegas odds have got to have both of these teams top 5 in Super Bowl odds. So it could be
in each of their respective conferences.
No, like overall.
I guess.
Maybe
Sure,
even
yeah,
top 3.
Yeah. I guess because the Eagles are probably.
I think Seattle and the Rams are probably ahead.
Yeah. And then it's probably like Bills, Eagles. Yeah, this is definitely a potential Super Bowl but go on.
It is potentially a Super Bowl matchup.
I will say neither really looked like
neither really looked like it in this game.
Yeah,
Josh Allen, and I don't want to put all the blame on him. Like he had some like really weird like disaster plays in this one, like the one double back sack, and it was a great play by the Eagles defensive line. Like Jalen Carter was able to contain him really well, but like that sack was awful. And then the miss on the 2-point conversion, like gotta hit that. Had an open man, Herbert would have hit that. That's all I'm saying. But
the fumble was the biggest play of all.
Right? Yeah. Like, and so, yes, he had some bad plays, but it's really had me thinking about this whole like QB hero ball agenda, because some guys just sort of have this aura about them that everyone's like, well, and it sort of does turn back to Justin Herbert, where it's like, oh, well, so-and-so would have overcome this. Mahomes can overcome this. Allen could overcome this. Burrow could overcome this. It's like, really, what is the success rate on quarterbacks in these hero ball situations? I feel like generally it's pretty low, right? We've seen Mahomes.
What do you consider success?
Like, you mean like a comeback win?
Or like I think about Mahomes in that Super Bowl against Tampa, where he's playing with nobody.
Yeah,
right.
But
like
Mahomes has gotten my receivers stinking on Mahomes bowl.
I think Josh Allen. Yes. I think Josh Allen constantly does play hero ball and win, and this was one of the worst games I've seen from him in a really long time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like that he was. I'm saying the asking your quarterback, like what is like the long term outlook of being like, yeah, just go get shit done, please.
I mean, is that kind of what like the Browns are asking Shador to do when they have a bad roster and Shador just sucks? So like it's terrible. Like whenever the roster is bad,
I feel like there's a lot of teams that are sort of leaning into.
Has to carry.
They're like, well, we're paying our quarterback a lot of money. Let's just.
Well, they're not trying to do it, right?
No, it's just they've been drafting not well. They haven't drafted well, but they just sort of lean into these like, oh well.
I don't think that's leaning into it.
It doesn't win Super Bowls.
I don't think
it doesn't win Super Bowls.
Well, Mahomes had a pretty weak wide receiver room when they got the Eagles. That wasn't no help, of course. Like, yeah, no one's gonna win a Super Bowl if their team is bad.
Yeah, they did have like Kelsey playing his best ball though.
But like, I don't agree with the point that you're trying to make. Is all I'm saying. I don't agree that like teams are strategically making a move to put little help around their quarterback.
No, I don't think
or
it's
building their teams in a way
I don't think it's strategic. I go, yeah, maybe it does sound like I'm saying that it's strategic. I don't know. I just feel like it's more about like the way we perceive things as fans. I think I'm trying to get at because I was trying to make a video about this earlier and I couldn't get the wording right then either. But it's mostly we hold quarterbacks to this standard of these guys are guys that can survive these hero ball scenarios. But I think mostly the answer is no one can in the long run.
Yeah, it's certainly something on my mind, especially with Herbert and Mahomes this year and right. Dak with the defense that he's got. Like,
right.
Yeah, quarterbacks can't just walk into a game and overcome shit all the time. But this was a game where I just think Allen played really bad.
Yeah, I cannot hold the ball and fumble it away how Allen did. And honestly, like, I thought there were at least a couple of like the catch that Cooks had. That was a really good catch, man. Shavers had another great catch. Now I'm not.
It was lucky. It was lucky. Both of those catches were a little bit lucky, especially the Shavers catch.
Vintage Brandon Cooks was not on my bingo card, man.
And those were really the only big plays that the Bills had, were those kind of bobbled, juggled, deep shots. It wasn't really a pure Allen throw or just a pure offensive, masterclass or operation. It was really tough sledding the entire day. And I think a lot of it was, the double back, they could have won that game if they kick a field goal there. If they make a field goal there. Who knows if they make a field goal that they kick.
That's also special teams, man.
Sure. And on some level, I guess it was kind of in the muck and the mire, and it was raining pretty heavy or whatever. But yeah, it definitely feels like Allen just made some critical mistakes, even with, a tough situation that cost him. And he had a throw that he could have won the game with, and it was tough because it felt like at the last second they were going to put it all together and come out with the wing. They had the Cooks catch and they had the hook and lateral on fourth. That was all. That was an awesome call. That was an awesome play.
It was a great call.
So to hit all that and then be aggressive and go for two, which, to be clear, I liked them doing that. Sure, why not? You got an open look for it. You can't be mad at the result of the play call. It's just the execution went wrong. So
yeah, I don't mind that at all. The Patriots have a really good shot to win the division anyway. I don't know. I think you're kind of playing with house money here if you're the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen from the 2-yard line is high percentage, point blank, and you just missed the throw. You missed the throw. I think the Bills are they're very flawed. I think that the Vegas odds, like I said earlier, probably had them as a top 3 or 4 team to win the Super Bowl. And I'm just not sure. Mm-hmm. I think the line did struggle in this game. The left side of the line, especially, is supposed to be the strong point, and they couldn't pass off a stunt early in the game. Allen gets killed. Ajamo, beats the left guard real bad on a bull rush. Allen gets sacked. It was definitely clear, and Brady kept talking about how his foot was bothering him, and I thought that was pretty obvious. And just he wasn't his normal elusive self that way. As another play, fourth down in the red zone, he's scrambling around. Usually, he's just able to run that in, I think. And in this, that cut that he made to get downhill just probably wasn't as springy as it usually was. And because of that, he probably should have just hit Ty Johnson in that end zone running pretty open. Just missed opportunities as a creator is not something that I'm usually used to saying with Josh Allen, but it was the case today. He got fooled thinking it was man, and then it was zone. And I don't really know why he ever thought it was man, because it just didn't ever really look like man, even pre-snap. Just a sloppy game. Just it didn't feel like he had paid much attention to details, and just kind of played his usual way with a foot that was bothering him. He should have been more of a precise pocket passer than he was, and he owns this. It ended any kind of MVP race that he was in, or that can't happen anymore. He sold this game. He was a reason why they lost.
Yeah. Meanwhile, May was farming passing touchdowns against the Jets. He understands what needs to go down in these last couple of weeks to give himself a shot at it. Although I do still feel like Stafford, with a good game, probably seals this thing up. I think the counting stat gap between Stafford and May is just going to end up being too great.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens if Stafford doesn't win the division though with Puka. Winning the division matters with Puka and McVay and a top 5 defense. You're the 5 seed, and May wins the division. That might be able to overcome the counting stats, but I don't want to get into the MVP race right now. But it's definitely not going to be Allen after this.
We're gonna have to get into it at some point.
We have to wait for Stafford to play.
We do. No. I'm hoping that he has a stinker, because Matt, you have the Rams picked in the Stay Hot locks, and I'm trying to pull away here.
Hurts had 0 completions in the second half. That was weird.
Yeah, that was.
Well,
Yeah, I mean the Eagles are. We know what they are, and like I don't feel like they're a very realistic pick out of the NFC. You know,
the defense has been so good. I mean, this was a very 2024 type performance from the defense. Like all the sacks they got, all rushing for. That wasn't the way they were playing earlier in the year. Like their pass rush was really struggling earlier in the year. They were reliant on man. They were reliant on blitzing more than Fangio ever had before. It feels like that is kind of gone, and they're back to the old Eagles defense in a way that is really tough to beat. I mean, James Cook didn't have a good game. Josh Allen didn't have a good game. Dawkins didn't have a good game. Spencer Brown, like it just was. It's just tough. I mean, they're built a little bit like the Texans, where it's like, man, there are two really good corners here. There's two really good guys in the middle of the defensive line, right? Not the edge duo necessarily, but the defensive tackles, and then of course there's Bond as this, X factor running around. Like they're complete. They're complete. They're 3-0 in games. Robert Mays said this. They're 3-0 in games where they have halves with under 5 passing yards. Like that's crazy. Like this is a defense that no matter what the offense.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that crazy. Hurts to at a half where it didn't.
Right, it happens all the. Yeah, you're right. It happens all the time.
It does, and I get being high on their defense. They're going to play in the wild card round of the playoffs a team from the NFC West. It's looking like it'll probably be the 49ers, but if the 49ers get the 1 seed, it'll probably be Seattle. And if the Seahawks get the 1 seed and the Rams lose a game, then it'll be the Rams. But like, I don't know if I like them in any of those matchups, honestly, even against the Niners.
I'd pick them against the Niners.
The Niners' defense is terrible.
It is terrible. It's so bad. But like, I don't know if I trust the Eagles offense.
For whatever limitations the Eagles offense has, I'm not even disagreeing with you. I guess I'm not gonna go to bat for the Eagles offense through and through right now. But I think the 49ers defense stinks, and like they got the Rams. They did beat them in a game. Like I don't think Philadelphia is just gonna run into some matchup that they. I mean, this is the NFL. It's gonna be a handful of points spread on a game like that. So,
it is a worse Eagles team. The offensive issues were there last year. Like the guard center guard combination was overrated last year, and I kept trying to say it, but like this year, it can't be overrated because it's so glaring how bad it is. Like it's so glaring how bad Dickerson is, and how bad Juergens is, and how bad Steen is. Like Fred Johnson today got tossed and then threw a temper tantrum because he got beat so bad. Like it's a disaster in a way that it wasn't last year, which
we never talked about the Pro Bowl. Did you guys see that Juergens is a Pro Bowler?
Don't even talk to me about the Pro Bowl.
What are we talking about?
I think we talked about it a little bit on the live stream. No Derek Brown. We don't.
I'm sneaking Derek Brown into the Pro Bowl in a crate, dressed up like a delivery driver, and then I'm getting Quinnen Williams out of there. You were in the AFC most of the year, bro. Like, step aside.
Step aside.
It is BS.
It is BS.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't.
But yeah, Juergens is not a Pro Bowler, so they're obviously Saquon doesn't have the greatest running back season of all time this season compared to last season, and that's the big difference. But like the defense is getting to be about that caliber as it was last year. It's probably a little bit worse. So yeah, maybe I'm with you, Blaiden, at the end of the day that the Eagles will lose at some point. But I don't know.
I don't think the take is like, well, they're obviously not going to come out of the NFC. It's like, yeah, probably not with this offense. But if, I don't know, can Lane Johnson get back and could they go and like beat the 49ers or something? Like, absolutely. That would be a weird game. Speaking of the 49ers, we should talk about that Bears game.
We should. I will say I did miss something. The path would be that if the Bears lose to the Lions and the Eagles win against the Commanders, they could play the Packers.
That'd be good.
They could win that game. They could win that game.
They don't want to see us.
They don't want to see you guys. No, but let's talk about 49ers Bears, the battle of absolutely no defense. Brock Purdy's kind of looking kind of Mahomey in this one. Dude, that one touchdown he threw to Juszczyk where he put two guys in a blender.
What the hell was that, man? That was crazy. I'll give Purdy that one. The Bears defense was playing like trash, but I'm giving Purdy that one. I don't care.
That was nasty, dude.
We gotta show respect.
Here's my take on Brock Purdy. He's like Caleb Williams with 30% of the range.
30% might be extreme, if you know what I mean, but I feel you on that. I mean, like, he's better than anybody else Shanahan's had in San Francisco, that's for sure. And I think this was still a really good game by him. I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch. I don't want to just throw it all away. I do feel like one of my Shanahan had the Bears linebackers in hell for a lot of this game.
Did.
I mean, they were just not ready to deal with how quick they were getting things underneath and then attacking over the top, and it didn't seem like they were playing very connected. They'd have multiple guys run into the same thing, and then Purdy would hit something else, and they had that bootleg late that they, then they'll turn it into a screen or whatever, and they're just not ready for that. And his sequencing and how he builds stuff off is just too much for the Bears defense to deal with. And Purdy then also made a lot of good throws and made a lot of great plays. And I mean, that touchdown that he had to Juszczyk, it was awesome. That was a sick.
Yeah, that one he was dancing. Yeah.
Bro, it was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was really accurate. I think he had the pick early, which was a very bad pick. That opening pick six that he threw, he did spot them 7 points, but he really did redeem himself the rest of the game by, just not even missing like, they caught it, but it was behind them, so they just went down. Like everything seemed to be in stride, like everything seemed to be exactly where it needed to be. And he's just been ridiculously efficient, really, since coming back from injury. Like the most efficient quarterback in the league since he came back. Is he the best quarterback in the league, or is he an elite one? Or am I the scout from Moneyball, and is Purdy the A's and actually like a really elite player? I think Shanahan does have a lot to do with it, and I think the Bears defense does have a lot to do with it. I think they really didn't apply pressure on him in the pocket, and Nashawn Wright had a brutal game. And like, man, after the pick six, they came back and drove down the field. The like crosser to occupy the post, and then you've got Demarcus Robinson running the in breaker on right, and the linebackers are nowhere where they need to be. Like that was just an okay. That one wasn't even dead on accurate. I thought that was an okay throw that got caught anyway because it was so wide open. And like Shanahan is just such an elite offensive engine himself with how he slices and dices these zone coverages. It's just insane how he has them in just a prime position to be the 1 seed with all the injuries that they've had. Mac Jones 5-3, right? Like it is just like maybe I should be giving more like it was a really, really efficient game from Purdy, but it's like Shanahan to me is the story still of like how open these guys are and how well it's all designed and how much sense it all makes. I don't know. It just he puts guys in an absolute blender. Like Tremaine Edmonds, Edwards, Wright, and they had no chance. I don't think we heard Jalen Johnson's name after that initial pick six, because there's just no reason to test him. It's like take away the inside help and run these in breakers on the weak point right, and just it's cheese over and over and over again. And I mean, to beat Purdy, there needs to be more pass rush. I think you can. Like, I do. I think there is no deep ball with him, and I think if you can pressure him, maybe some cracks would start to show. But with no pressure, like he's very dialed in this scheme, and I think Shanahan should be coach of the year. Like that was kind of my takeaway on this offense.
What are your thoughts on Christian McCaffrey's offensive player of the year case?
Terrible.
He entered this game second in scrimmage yards, third in scrimmage touchdowns. He's the team's leader in receiving.
I think there's no way. I like 3.6 yards a carry is what he had going into this game. Like, I just don't think that's offensive player of the year stuff. This was his best game of the year, and his vision is still there, and he is a really dangerous receiver, and it does open up a lot down the field, no doubt, but I just don't think he's dynamic as he used to be with the ball in his hands, and I think he's been too inefficient as a runner to be offensive player of the year, even be in the conversation. That's my take on it.
Okay. I think McCaffrey's still really valuable. You don't see his impact from other running backs that the 49ers have had with Shanahan. But yeah, if you're going to be inefficient running the ball, like, the competition at the top right now is really tough. And I'll say that him having more scrimmage yards than a wide receiver is not enough for me when it comes to offensive player of the year, because running backs have the advantage at scrimmage yards.
Yeah, I mean,
right, a wide receiver, like 1,800 yards from scrimmage or 2,000 yards from scrimmage from a running back.
Yeah, he's touched the ball 400 times this year.
It's different.
Is not going to touch the ball.
Puka or Jason going for 1,800 like all receiving yards. Those are two very different things, in my opinion.
No, it's fair.
I don't think it's unreasonable to have him in the conversation. Well, hold on, I'm not that guy. I think I think he's going to get votes, and I'll respect it, is how I'll put it. But I don't know if I can.
I mean,
his longest run going into this game was 24 yards. Like, I just think he needs to be more dynamic.
That is tough.
His longest run was 41 yards in this game.
Ooh.
The team speed for it was 41 yards in this game, and this game does count in it.
It does count.
He had a good game.
He had a great game.
He had a good game.
This was his best game of the year.
180 scrimmage yards in this game. He had 1,800. He had 1,888 coming in. So he's going to eclipse 2,000. And
he cooked. He cooked, and he's very valuable. And Purdy was not the same without him last year. And he does dictate the things that the 49ers need to be good.
He's still really impactful.
Because you need to rotate a safety down to guard him. And those cover 3 looks instead of quarters really, really helps the scheme for Shanahan. It really helps the play action when you don't have that extra safety up top to leverage these crossers and in breakers. And then instead of that, safety has to be done. So he has a ton of gravity, no doubt about it.
But maybe it's like the minute we start to include value in the Offensive Player of the Year award, all of a sudden quarterbacks start winning.
I don't think that's quite the same as value. Is just saying, like, the fact that defenses pay a lot of attention to him because he's really good. I kind of think that those are two different things.
Yeah. Also, he might have 1,000 and 1,000 after week 18.
Yeah, he's got a chance to have a great statistical season, and that's why him getting votes is fine. I do think 1,000 and 1,000 scrimmage yards cannot just be the only thing that we go off of, though.
Yeah, I just
you have to give the grace to receivers that they're just not going to have as many yards most likely as the top running back. They probably never will.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know how many times over the last 10 years. I have to go and look, but I'm not wrong about that, no.
No,
I mean, Saquon.
No. Yeah, I mean, Shamari DK actually leads the league in all-purpose yards this year, but that's because he kicker.
Okay.
The top 6 players in scrimmage yards are all running backs.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't think this is 2023 Right. He's still really good, but 2023 McCaffrey is an offensive player of the year, and this ain't that. I mean, we're talking 5.4 yards per carry versus 3.7 at least going into this game. Maybe it's way higher now, and I think that this is peak Puka Nacua, and this is peak JSN.
I mean, this would be if he goes for 1,000.
Sold JSN so bad, dude. I hate them for that, man.
They did. I mean, he had 72 yards.
He had a fine game, but man, he was like he was like really, really pacing for the record, or at least to like, he might not win Offensive Player of the Year. I bet you he's the underdog for Offensive Player of the Year versus Puka right now, because they don't want to throw the ball, or Darnold is getting intentional grounding penalties, which are impossible to get in this league.
That's
one
true.
out of every 500 throwaways is grounding. One out of every 500 actual like too. Intentionally grounding the balls is actually by rule a grounding, and Darnold got one for 1,000,000 yards, and he hates JSN.
We talked about that on the live stream too. Like, they need to call grounding more. Like, what do we do? Like,
it's not that they need to call it more. It's that they need to change the rules so where everything is grounding all the time, and this should be 0 points.
I'm just like, why is Stroud able to just, like, there was a play where he was like gonna get killed, right? Like, he was gonna get sacked. He just threw it into the stands, and it's just like, oh well, he just threw it away. It's like, no, it's like, I don't care that there was a receiver like on the sideline in the direction that he threw it. Like, that is by definition intentional grounding. He grounded himself intentionally. So that was weird. But the Offensive Player of the Year, it is still JSN according to FanDuel.
Yep.
Minus 200.
He's still the favorite.
Okay.
And then Puka's plus 250. McCaffrey's plus 600, man.
That's pretty close.
That is pretty close. I didn't think he was going to be that close. And then James Cook and Jonathan Taylor are both plus 15,000. So they're like totally out of it. I think Cook should be closer in that conversation. He's had a great year. But he's 1,500 yards probably isn't getting it done against a 1,600-yard receiver. Caleb Williams, though, tried to get it done at the end. Couldn't.
He played great. I thought Chris Collinsworth had a really weird game. Talking about Caleb Williams.
Had a weird game.
Whenever Caleb missed a throw, he'd be like, this is just what holds him back from being elite.
There was a moment in the fourth quarter where he was like, he has missed so many wide open passes.
And I feel like all of the times he said that, Caleb was like under heavy duress. And I've seen so many performances from quarterbacks where Collinsworth or any announcer really like just does not talk about misses like that. Like, it's kind of a 24/7 glaze session for most quarterbacks. And I feel like for Caleb there, like missing a pressured, like on the run throw 20 yards down the field, like high. I think it's fair to hold Caleb to a higher standard because he's really good, I guess. But I thought it was weird. Like, these are not just simple everyday throws that he's missing. And Caleb has missed them. Like, I get watching Caleb's tape and being like, yeah, he's got to hit this dig, or he's got to hit this thing under no pressure. But like some of these throws like weren't open. They're out of structure. Like,
well, maybe Collinsworth goes into the game saying like in his notes, one of Caleb's weaknesses is, he struggles with accuracy sometimes. So then that makes him more likely to say like Caleb is great. But my point when he misses any throw is going to be about like, yeah, these are kind of the plays that he needs to clean up. And that extended maybe wrongly to like tougher throws instead of just like missing standing still, gimme stuff that he's got to hit. I would wonder if that's what would happen, but I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought Caleb was pretty much fantastic tonight. Like, his velocity on plays where he's under pressure or plays where he's rolling left, like the balls don't go like more than 20 yards above the air. Like, they just absolutely hum. And the fact that he's just as strong rolling right as he is rolling left is like ridiculous. Like, I do think he's an alien, and I do think that he was good in and out of structure tonight. And somehow, despite the fact that the Bears defense is healthier than the Niners, I think the Niners defense might even be better than what the Bears put out there tonight. But I don't know. That might not be true. Actually, the 49ers defense is pretty atrocious. The free play touchdown, like Loveland was supposed to be bracketed, and then both guys went to the same side of the bracket, so he just turned around. Like, bruh.
Colston Loveland's awesome.
Loveland has really come along. I don't know. I just kind of thought this was a game where it's like, the Bears made some mistakes on their final drive, and it cost them a little bit, and they're a little young. But it was like, my overall takeaway from the game, Loveland looking really good, looking like he's just a super flexible threat because he is a very legit route runner, not for his size, but just a very legit route runner overall. But like then he had a drop on the final drive, and that kind of set.
Apparently that was his first drop
like
all season.
Yeah, that's what they were saying on the broadcast. And then Burden had a great game, but he had a drop too. And then that's how you get down, on the goal line, and you only get one shot at the thing instead of all of them. And I was like, all right, well, that's tough.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think Johnson got out coached a little bit. It was weird that they didn't have any timeouts at the end, and they kind of took one to talk about something instead of to stop the clock. And after the hook and ladder, they're spiking the ball that didn't score, and then the last play was kind of a disaster. They didn't get everybody blocked, and no one was open downfield. Like
because they didn't get.
They kind of choked.
That's the situation where you want to have that last timeout. And so you can stop it there, and you can take an extra 30 seconds to really draw something up that you like. Instead, they just kind of had to go out there. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Caleb Williams, I thought, had a great game. The rookies, both Loveland and Burden, are great. I still wish they had like an absolute freakazoid at running back, dude.
There's some kind of graceless Monungai runs. They weren't really able to. Swift's touchdown was sick.
Swift has looked quite good this year.
Swift has really come on as the season is. He was terrible to begin the year, I thought, but like I don't think he's terrible anymore right now. But at the end of the day, he's no McCaffrey. And Ben Johnson is just not Shanahan as a head coach right now, and.
Yeah, but it's his first year. I mean, Kyle Shanahan's been doing this a while. He's really good.
Just, young. Yeah,
they're young.
Okay, fellas, I'm about to pass out.
All right, let's go to bed then.
Then let's go to bed. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. If you tuned into the live stream, thank you guys. That was a lot of fun. We're getting ready for playoff time, and then Super Bowl will be underway, and we'll be out there at Media Week. So if you see us, come say hi. It'll be in February. But until next time, as always, from your favorite fellows here at Stay Hot, we hope you had a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we hope as you get towards the new year, it's spectacular for 2026. We'll catch you guys on the flippity flop.